Since the 16th century, the study of human perception has rested on a single assumption, that the universe is made of fully accessible objects, and the best way to understand them is to detach the observer from the environment. This assumption spawned empiricism. Under this bottom-up framework, human consciousness is reduced to causal mechanics, a passive physical receiver reacting to external stimuli. In response, rationalists built the opposite extreme, intellectualism. This top-down model treats the mind as an autonomous projector, operating in isolation from the physical world it observes. In 1945, the French philosopher Maurice Merleau-Ponty identified a flaw in both paradigms. By treating the human body as a mechanical input device, or ignoring it in favor of a floating mind, both systems reduced the human body to a mere object. To accurately map perception, we have to abandon the physics engine of the empiricists and the floating brain of the intellectualists. Perception is our active, continuous opening up of the world. The breaking point for these mechanistic models is visible in clinical anomalies, specifically the phenomenon of the used phantom limb. Classical neuroscience easily explains a severed nerve sending a pain signal. It struggles to explain why a patient involuntarily attempts to use a limb that no longer exists to complete practical, everyday tasks. The solution requires a distinction first drawn by the phenomenologist Edmund Husserl. He separated our physical presence into the body as object, the mere flesh and bone studied by biology, and the body as lived. Merleau-Ponty introduced the body schema. It's a subreflective organization of posture operating independently of physical flesh. It incorporates the missing limb because the subject's goals demand it. The environment presents a task, and the spatial map projects outward to fulfill it. The phantom limb demonstrates that our bodies gear into the world based on intentions and tasks, operating entirely beneath the level of conscious reflection. To see exactly how this body schema operates, we have to look at what happens when it breaks down. This is documented in the clinical case study of a brain-injured patient known as Schneider. Schneider retains the ability to perform concrete, habitual movements effortlessly. If a mosquito lands on his arm, his opposite hand swiftly swats it away. Yet if a doctor asks Schneider to perform an abstract movement, like pointing to his own nose on command without a contextual reason, he is unable to do so. This creates a paradox for intellectualist models. If human movement requires top-down conceptual mapping to execute a physical action, Schneider should lack the ability to swat the mosquito. Merleau-Ponty called this motor intentionality. The body grasps its landscape as physical solutions. In Schneider, the intentional arc linking his body to abstract targets breaks, leaving only his concrete motor responses intact. This physical understanding builds on the work of Martin Heidegger, who observed we don't encounter things as static objects, but as ready-to-hand opportunities for action. Physical proficiency and environmental coping occur prior to and independent of abstract reasoning. If language and logic come second, we have to explain how we constitute the significance of the world in the first place. As Merleau-Ponty noted, the soul doesn't pilot the body like a captain steering a ship. Mind and physical form are intermingled, constantly altering each other. This visualizes the humoral infrastructure. Before conscious thought, baseline bodily states filter our perception. This somatic affect organizes into a physical hold, calculating an item's weight and utility. Linguistic meaning is a secondary overlay, mapping onto reality only after this grip establishes the environment. This challenge to traditional dualism secured Merleau-Ponty's rise to the pinnacle of French academia, earning his doctorate at the Sorbonne and a chair in psychology. By 1952, he was appointed to the Collège de France, ensuring that his framework of the lived body dominated mid-century intellectual thought. These observations regarding the affective infrastructure align with the modern somatic marker hypothesis, which posits that effective decision-making relies on internal bodily states. Human existence is ambiguous. Our minds, our physical forms, and our environments are intertwined in a constantly projective state. This perspective redefines our relationship to the environment. Merleau-Ponty concludes, the lived body haunts space, carving pathways and reorganizing the environment around its trajectory. The body is the visible form of our intentions. It acts as a central node, radiating a system of motor projections outward into the world to solve the problems of daily existence. This perspective complicates the pursuit of artificial general intelligence. If cognition is inseparable from the physical body, then modeling the brain as a computational engine processing data misses the primary mechanism of human understanding. True cognition requires a lived body, seamlessly intertwined with its environment, actively projecting its intentions into the world. Anything less is a return to the trap of objective thought.